All right, our next question is from Kent on the physical sustainability of BJJ. Kent says, I'm wondering what the long-term implications are of regular BJJ practice. It's always something I've wanted to explore, but it seems like many folks who have practiced consistently for years have developed joint issues, tears, etc. Is this simply inevitable? And what are your thoughts on the long-term sustainability? I'm not talking about someone who is wanting to seriously compete, but someone like yourself who enjoys the physical nature of the practice. My apologies in advance if you've already answered this question and I missed it. Thanks for all you do.
We did answer it, but it didn't get recorded.
We answered it 4 days ago.
Yeah, and we did a pretty good job on it, as I recollect with that. So the short answer is it is not an inevitable thing that you're going to get injured doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Not any more so than, and I would suspect probably less so than like soccer or basketball. Like I forget, like the greatest injury rate in the military is like pickup basketball or something like that. Like, yeah, more people get injured. There's more downtime from pickup basketball in the military than like all other military activities or something like that. So yeah, jiu-jitsu is a contact sport. There is injury potential, but a couple of things with that. If you're a knucklehead and you don't tap at the appropriate time, you're going to get hurt. So tap early, tap often. Our coach, John Frankel, makes the case that you've got to love jiu-jitsu more than winning. And what that means is that you get in, and when somebody gets you, that's a repetition. And you think about like, oh, how did they get that armbar? How did they get that choke? And you start trying to kind of retro-engineer that. What do you need to do to be able to intervene earlier, to be able to deal with that? If somebody's going super hard, you either communicate with them to dial it down, or you figure out a way of kind of mitigating that stuff. So
a lot of it is the vibe of your school and your
Yes.
training partners too. Like if you're in a place where everybody's like going for bear and like, I'm going to tap you, by hook or by crook, then the likelihood of injury is probably higher. If you're in a school where it's like, I just, okay, here's my arm. How can I get out? Like, what can I do to get out of this? And you're okay being in those positions and tapping and not always coming out on top. You're going to learn a lot more, and your likelihood of injury is probably less.
Yeah, and some of the big injury points, like joints of the hands, the fingers, if you do a really grip-intensive game, like if you're like grabbing sleeves and you're grabbing pants and stuff like that, one, I would make the case that it's a dead-end process. Like you actually don't get as good at jiu-jitsu as what you would otherwise get. And two, it really can damage your hands pretty severely.
There are people that tape all their fingers up just to train.
Yeah, people do this as a badge of honor. They go sit down and they spend 30 minutes taping their fucking hands, and it's like you're, in my opinion, again, and there's lots of opinion around this, but it's not good jiu-jitsu. Overhooks, underhooks, instead of grabbing, sleeve, I'm doing more kind of no gi stuff, whether I'm wearing a gi or not. When we wear a gi most of the time because I'm just comfortable in it, but my gi and no gi game are virtually identical. The only difference is occasionally I choke people with their gi, and every once in a while somebody tries or does choke me with my gi. And other than that, my gi and no gi games are virtually identical. And then we had one other piece to this.
Looking at something called kin stretch.
Yeah, kin stretch.
The folks who do functional range conditioning, Dr. Andrea Spina up in Toronto, and then he has several of his coaches that offer kin stretch. It's amazing. Like we haven't experienced something like this before. It's basically strengthening in your end range. So in jiu-jitsu, frequently you are in an end range position when you're about to tap. So it's just preventing, it's helping to keep those tissues healthy, keeping them strong in their end range. So hopefully your likelihood of injury is significantly less.
Yeah, I'm glad you remember that. And then one other thought, and this is going to make some people angry, but the grips are a big deal for injury in jiu-jitsu. And the other thing that's super catastrophic is the neck. And inverted games where people are spinning around upside down inverted. I know it's super popular in modern jiu-jitsu. There are people that do it really, really well. And there are a lot of people that get seriously, seriously broken from it. Particularly if you are a little bit of a smaller person and you are weight bearing under that inverted load. Like I just think it's super dodgy. It has limited application from a self-defense standpoint, and orthopedically, I think it's a disaster. And I know I'm going to get a bunch of people that absolutely hate me on that, but
controversy is good.
Controversy is good, apparently, yeah.